and welcome everyone to today's show. It's day 9 of the 25 stories I would tell my younger self. I am here at my parents' place and we're doing the recording here today. It was a really great day, simply coming back and connecting with all the people that you haven't seen. So that was really awesome. And I think today's story really fits well with this. So for those of you that have read the book or for those that want to read the book, today's story it's December 9th, so we're talking about the 9th story. It's the Kitesurfing Story. And it has this subtitle of Naysayers Will Always Say Nay. And if you read the book, then you kind of know that I came back from the US and I was all ready to go to college there. I had studied really hard about the SAT. We talked about all this studying yesterday. If you missed that episode, I think learning the memory palace is really, really a great thing. And I came back to Austria and actually it was really in these environments. So it's a very, very nice memory over 10 years ago where I went to Italy with my dad, with my parents, and we were kite surfing there. This is how I learned the sport and I got really hooked to the sport. Well, since I don't know if you know Austria that well, and Austria is not around water. So to kite surf is not a very typical sport. Here, skiing is going to be very typical, and I'm going to take some really nice shots over the next couple of weeks that I'm here, from sleighing, from skiing, from winter sports. I mean, this is what Austria is known for. And so when I started to kite surf, imagine how many people told me that this is absolutely ridiculous. They said, why do you do this? And why do you even have career aspirations to become a great kite surfer? There's no way you can train. There's no way you can do this. There's no open water, no sea, no nothing. Well, they were all right. There was no water, there was no ocean. It was not that kite surfing was the sport that Austria is famous for. But I really enjoyed the sport. And what I want to talk about today is, and it's actually two things at the same time. The first I want to talk about is that you need to find your niche that you're going to get really great in. For me, what happened was, since kite surfing was so unpopular in Austria, it was quite easy for me to get really good in kite surfing compared to everyone else. In skiing, there's hundreds of thousands of people skiing. So for me to become a great skier, of course, the chances would have been a lot smaller than for me to become a world-class kite surfer. Why? Well, simply, it's the odds of numbers. If there's a few other people doing something, well, that also means that I have an easier way of succeeding. So my first takeaway lesson out of the book, and we don't talk much about this in the book, and again, I want to cover in these video series, I want to cover extra stories behind, extra lessons behind that normally we don't cover, that are not in the book, so you get these extra values out. And so the first thing I would love you to look for are, what are things that you enjoy doing, but at the same time are niche, so that you can get extraordinary good at it, or you can be someone who's gonna get extra value out of something by reaching out in your niche without so much competition from other sides. I've used the same technique many times over and over again later on, as you will see in some more stories, but especially in kite surfing, this stuck out. Now, at the same time, while I found a very awesome niche, I had a lot of people who told me that this made absolutely no sense. And I don't mean in a negative way. I mean they tried to help me by telling me that being a kite surfer is not going to be the right way for me to go, and I should focus on serious things. So the reason I'm telling you this is because I think many people on a daily basis start new things where they might be a bit insecure at the beginning themselves. I mean, for me, it was not clear that starting my kitesurfing career was going to make me successful. Of course not. I mean, who knows that for 100% fact when they start something completely new? So I had a lot of people around me who said, Julian, come on, get back to your senses. That's kitesurfing. You're not going to make any money in this. You should focus on studying medicine. You should do something serious. I mean, think about it. You have this regularly. You start something new. Oh, it doesn't have to be sports. Maybe you want to become great at piano. Maybe you want to be a great artist. Maybe you want to try. It doesn't matter. Start your own business, whatever it is. The key is you will always have people around you who will not understand what you're doing, and they try to protect you by telling you that what you're about to do is not going to make much sense. Well, I tell you how you have to step by step, look into if it makes sense for you. And the first thing you have to ask yourself is, Do you truly enjoy what you're doing? Is it a passion that you want to follow? So for me, kitesurfing was really a passion. I couldn't get enough of it. I loved being on the water, and I could kitesurf for hours and hours and hours and hours. So I really enjoyed doing it. And this is the most important thing. Are you truly enjoying to do it? Or do you just like to do it 1 or 2 hours and afterwards it's like, okay, great, so let's do something else? Well, then it's definitely not a passion. I was waiting in the car when it was outside almost freezing just for the wind to come so I could go out on the water. I was truly passionate about it. I tried to spend every minute on the water. So this is the first thing, because if you have this true passion, you're willing to really go all the way. You're willing to step further. If you're an artist and all you like doing is painting 1 or 2 pictures and that's it, and then afterwards you're like, okay, so let's play computers again. Well, probably you're not going to be 100% passionate about what you're doing. So that is the first question you should ask yourself. The second question you should ask yourself when you have people telling you these things, can they relate to what you're going through? Or are they just trying to protect you out of a feeling that they think they know what you're going through? So I had no one who had tried to go into professional sports except for one person. And that person is my uncle, still. He is a professional wheelchair tennis player. So he was a tennis player. He had a very bad accident, and I'm going to try to get him on the show one time to share about this experience, how he got up from that. But so he had a very bad accident and became a wheelchair tennis player. And so during that time, when I was 17, 18 years old, I did spend some time to him, talking to him about sports, talking about him sports mindset, talking to him what I could expect out of doing this professionally. And he had experience of around 10 years at that time of how it is to be in professional sports. And guess what? I got a lot of input out of that helped me understand what could be coming up to me. And he told me the exact same thing. He said when he had this bad accident, a lot of people were in table tennis, for wheelchair table tennis. So he said, I don't want to go into table tennis. There's too much competition there. But if I go to tennis, regular tennis, less competition, I can succeed. And guess what? He became the top of the world in wheelchair tennis. And so for me, this was a very open mind opener, because at the same time he told me he had a lot of people told him not to play tennis because table tennis is more popular. Well, just like me, people tried to tell me to do skiing. So I took away that I'm passionate about it, just like he was or he is. I could get really good at it, and I had to understand that many other people didn't understand what I was going through. So I had to listen to the right people. So you need to find people who have been going through, or at least in the same field or similar field. Don't talk about thinking they know what they're doing, but talking about actual experience. Very important. And the last thing, you have to go and just leap into it. You're not going to learn something from reading a book. If you want to know how it is to be professional at something, if you want to learn how it is to actually do something, well, you really have to do it. You cannot read and try it. So for me, that meant I went to my first competition to Austria, and I had high expectations, but I failed miserably. It was a disaster. I got kicked out, I think, in the first or second round. I really failed. But then here's the key thing. It was the best thing that could have happened to me that I failed, because it allowed me to reflect and understand for all the upcoming competitions, for all my upcoming things, what am I supposed to do to succeed? And at the same time, it allowed me to understand my playing field. It allowed me to understand how successful can I potentially be? How far ahead are the others? So this are my really important tips for you today. The first thing, find your niche in whatever you want to be really great at. The next thing, listen to the right people, preferably people that have been undergoing what you want to undergo. Then be sure that you're really passionate about it. And then you just have to have this leap of faith to go for it. And it's going to get easy, or at least easier, when all these things get together. Because if you're not passionate about it and you haven't found someone that you can listen to who has been undergoing certain things, it's going to be quite hard. So with this show today, and it went a bit longer just because I think it's a very important topic for, I think, actually almost everyone out there. Because many people have these things that they would love to try out, just like I said before. And if you don't have these steps in the right place, you will always get discouraged by the naysayers, because they are going to be there because they try to protect you not to get hurt. So if you tackle that in a proper way, you're going to understand it's my right way, and you're going to pursue it, and you're going to succeed. Just like I was in kitesurfing, because at the end, and you can read this in the book, it allowed me to travel for 10 years. It allowed me to travel to the best places. It got me featured in a lot of magazines, and it was one of the best things that could have happened in my life. And it wouldn't have happened had I listened to the naysayers. So I'm 100% sure for you, this could mean you could be extremely successful in what you're doing if you follow these steps all the way through. So I hope you get some value out of today's show. If you like those things, hey, please subscribe to our newsletter, follow us on YouTube, connect with us on social media. It would be such a pleasure. We're going to have these shows on a regular basis, and all the way until Christmas, 25 shows, 25 days. And well, thanks for watching, and talk to you tomorrow about a very fun story about medicine. Cheers, guys. Have a wonderful 8th of December.